So ChatGPT has some new skills. On mobile, it can now listen and speak, and on desktop, it can now see. Today, we're going to be looking at these new vision capabilities, in particular, how useful they are going to be for marketers. So what does this look like? Well, we've now got this little attach images button. If we give it a click, we can upload images to ChatGPT and it can process those images. We can ask it questions. Let's take a look at our first example. But let's see how useful it really is. We're going to give it a range of typical digital marketing tasks and see how it performs. Let's start off nice and simply. I'm going to give it a screenshot of this website and ask it for some tips on how to improve the conversion rate. This will be a relatively straightforward job for any experienced digital marketer, but an experienced digital marketer is going to cost you some money. So how does ChatGPT do? Well, here's the image that I've uploaded, and I asked, I would like to increase the conversion rate of this website to generate more leads from my local area. What would you recommend? Well, it's come up with some reasonable suggestions in amongst a bunch of stuff which comes across as really generic. So, for example, the major thing that I would have suggested having looked at this website is it needs a really engaging call to action that incentivizes visitors to actually submit their details in order to get started. Now, we don't have that at all. We've got a contact us button and that's about it. ChatGPT has picked up on this. It suggested a prominent call to action, CTA. It says your contact us button is a bit understated. Consider making it more noticeable, blah, blah, blah. Consider include more CTAs throughout the site, especially after listing services or advantages. Yep, I'd agree with that. But I'd also say you need to incentivize people to actually fill in that form. It's no good just having a prominent contact us form if there's no reason for people to actually contact you. And to be fair, it has said in point 11, offer incentives. For example, a free initial consultation, downloadable guide, or discounts for certain services. That's not a bad shout. Other bits of useful advice, a clear value proposition. In your website's main banner or hero section, quickly highlight what sets you apart from other solicitors in your area. Another good suggestion. But then there's a whole bunch of other stuff in here that's completely generic, and actually some of it isn't even related to conversion rate at all. So whilst there are some useful nuggets in here, you have to dig through all the other stuff and you have to have a level of expertise to know what to listen to and what to ignore. The reality is there are some quick tweaks that you could make on this website in a matter of hours, which would significantly increase the conversion rate. If you followed all of ChatGPT's recommendations though, this is going to take days, weeks, or even months just to implement this stuff. And there's only really a few things here that are related to conversion optimization. So on the one hand, I'm impressed that ChatGPT has clearly looked at the website and made some suggestions. But on the other hand, those suggestions are buried in so much generic info that actually you still need to know what you're doing to work out which bits of instruction to follow. Overall, I'm going to give this answer a 5 out of 10. If a job applicant at Exposure Ninja gave us this answer in a demo task, we probably wouldn't take their application any further. But then again, ChatGPT is $20 a month, so it's not really a fair comparison. Okay, up next, we're going to have it analyze some PPC ads. So I've run a search here for litigation solicitors Manchester, and we're going to have a look and see whether ChatGPT can help me craft some ads to compete against these advertisers. So again, I've taken a screenshot, I've uploaded it to ChatGPT and said, assess these ads and tell me how I can create ads that match or exceed their click-through rate and quality score. Now, the quality score question is actually a bit of a trick question because in order to improve the quality score, I also have to have optimized the landing page behind the ad. So let's see if ChatGPT figures that out. And that's one thing you'll notice about its new vision capabilities. It's incredibly good at reading text. So it's been able to pull out specific pieces of copy from these competitor ads, which is really neat. It's identified the ad extensions and accessories that are used in the search results, and it's been able to distill all of these into some clear recommendations. Now, I've got to say, I'm pretty impressed by this. It's recommending things that are exactly what we would suggest. Clear value proposition, strong call to action, using your extensions, emphasizing urgency and timeliness. And it's even got my trick question, optimizing the landing page. And it knows that it needs to optimize this landing page in order to get that quality score up. So is ChatGPT going to run your pay-per-click ads for you? Well, all of that stuff is actually also pretty obvious if you just look at the ads. And of course, you're not going to be designing your pay-per-click campaign just based on your competitors' ads. You're also going to be drawing out what's most unique about your business. Having said that, based on the question that we asked it and the response that it gave, I'm pretty impressed. I'm going to give ChatGPT a 7.5 out of 10. If this was a demo task submitted by an applicant for one of our PPC roles, we probably would interview them. But by the way, that doesn't mean that if you're interviewing for Exposure Ninja, you should be using ChatGPT in your demo task. We can tell. Our next test is going to analyze whether ChatGPT with eyes can understand Google Search Console graphs and give us some takeaways to improve our website's performance. I've uploaded a screenshot from Google Search Console. There's no table with keywords or pages. I've just given it the graph. I'm interested to see what it can draw out from this graph. So I said, what insights can you pull from this Google Search Console chart? First up, it's basically just recited what it can see and explain those numbers. That's not particularly useful if you know what you're looking at, but of course, if you didn't know what you were looking at, this might be a useful explanation. It's then given some very basic takeaways. There are fluctuations in traffic, there is a trend towards the end, and the click-through rate is relatively stable. Yes, all of these are obvious. As a marketer that looks at Search Console graphs every so often, I can also see that something happened around this point, which meant that the number of impressions and clicks improved. The average position went up, and yet average click-through rate remained the same. And I'm also noticing a bit of a gap between average click-through rate and average position, which implies that whilst my pages might be ranking better, I'm not increasing the number of clicks. So I may want to look at the click-through rate of specific page titles and meta descriptions. And to be honest, that's the sort of insight that you really want from a graph like this. You don't just want a basic explanation of what can you see. But I guess unless you're an experienced marketer, you might not know to get that insight or to ask ChatGPT for that level of insight. And either ChatGPT doesn't know that, or it just doesn't think it's relevant to the vast majority of users. So I'm a little bit disappointed with this. It's basically just say what you see. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. If you've been experimenting with generative AI but don't really know how to build it into your workflows, you don't know what it's really good at, what it's weak at, and how in particular it can fit into your business's processes, then the team at Powered by AI are here to help you. Go to pbai.co and request a free consultation. We will have a chat with you to understand your processes, how you're using generative AI currently, and start to work out which areas you might be able to use it to improve your marketing productivity and the quality of your output. So head over to pbai.co today. Up next, we're going to get it to analyze some social media ads. So here I am in the Facebook ad library. I've just done a quick search on Huel to see what type of ads they're running. Let's say that I was marketing a competitor to Huel and I wanted to take some inspiration from their Facebook ads. Let's see what ChatGPT can do with a screenshot of this ad history and what sort of insights it can draw out. Now you can see it's a pretty massive screenshot, so all the text is all tiny. You can't see it, but ChatGPT can. So what has it learned? Well, it's learned that these ads are for Huel. Yep. It's picked out some of the common themes across these ads, which is useful. And by the way, this is correct. It's identified the themes running through the ads. It's picked out the CTA, and it's mentioned a diverse use of models in the ads. And this is not wrong. All of these things are technically correct. As an even slightly functional digital marketer, I've also noticed that Huel tends to favor vertical user-generated content style videos, and it's used influencers like Stephen Butler and Ali Abdaal in these ads. I can see it's using the same copy for a bunch of different ads and just testing different video, and I can see that it's primarily using video ads rather than image ads. Now, ChatGPT hasn't really picked up on any of those things, and I would say that those are actually the most useful insights from looking at this type of competitor analysis. So I've got to be honest, I'm not massively impressed with ChatGPT's work here. Yes, it's picked up some good stuff, but it really doesn't have the level of insight required to actually take learnings and implement a great campaign. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 10 for this task. Now, before I show you ChatGPT's pièce de résistance, I thought I would get it to use its new integration with Dolly to create an ad for Exposure Ninja. So I asked it to design an ad for Exposure Ninja using their logo. Now, the lawyers have been involved here because it says, I'm sorry, but I cannot directly use copyrighted logos. Of course, it's not saying I can't use copyrighted logos because indirectly it's been trained on copyrighted logos. Awkward. But it's offered to design me an ad nonetheless if I explain it. So I said, all right, design me an ad with a cartoon ninja harpooning a helpless beached whale. Label the beached whale low conversion rate. The vibe I'm going for is that we ninjas take action against low conversion rates. It's a pretty graphic image though, and ChatGPT actually said, using imagery that portrays harm, especially to animals, can be perceived as insensitive or offensive by some audience. Thanks for checking me out, ChatGPT. You're actually right. I don't want to do that at all. Instead, I can help design a concept where the ninja is helping the whale to get back into the water. So I agree, yeah, fine. Okay, what did it do? Well, after a long wait, it has created me some ads. And these look kind of interesting. I actually really like this one. The colors are super bright. I could see this being a bit of a scroll stopper. Now, if I was going to nitpick, I'd say it looks like the ninja's actually pulling the whale out of the water rather than pushing it in. But whatever, it looks pretty cool. This next one, I'm not actually sure what this device is, but that is one strong ninja. This ninja has been eating their generic brand wheat product. Although by the look of the whale's face, these holes which have been sewn into it look to be quite painful. This one is a little bit of a different style. Again, I'm quite liking it. The whale looks kind of weird. This one, the ninja looks kind of angry. The whale looks kind of terrified, and the pulley looks anchored to, don't know. Now, I asked it for more variations of the first one, and it obliged. We got some funky stuff going on here. Not entirely sure what's going on here, or here, or here. This looks cute and collaborative, and this one looks painful. I think it's really exciting having these image generators built into tools like ChatGPT. It makes them so much more accessible than, going into the Discord to use Midjourney or whatever. It makes it nice, quick, and easy to get this type of creative done. Now, are any of these images good enough to use in ads? I'm not sure, but to be honest, I would probably test this first one. Why not? It looks kind of weird. And in fact, a lot of the time with ad creative, you really just want to stop the scroll. So if there's something slightly weird about the picture, that could work out to your advantage. All right, but let's do the final task, and we got a special one for you. Ever since the original GPT-4 was released, OpenAI promised us that we could draw a website on a piece of paper and GPT-4 would design it for us. So I thought I would try this. I've designed a website here, and I use design very loosely. I've designed the heading, I've put the logo at the top, we've got the menu, we've got a video, call to action box, bit of copy, some logos, an FAQ section, an accordion, and then the footer. I took a photo of this, uploaded it to ChatGPT. Let's see how it does. Amazingly, it's given me the code for my website. It's even managed to understand some of my writing, which is an extraordinary feat that even I struggle with. In my version, I forgot to put a submit button in my contact form. That's not much good. Luckily, ChatGPT has my back and added it for me. It hasn't figured out that my FAQ section was an accordion, but whatever. Let's see how this thing looks in real life. Are you ready? All right, well, it's a website. Is it the website that I'm going to be launching? Probably not. But look, we've got a menu section, we've got a video, we've got a headline with some copy, we've got a form with a submit button, we've got an FAQ section, we've got a footer, and then we've got a map-ish. And for me, this illustrates perfectly where ChatGPT with vision is at. This is a neat party trick. Yes, it can technically code a website in HTML, but actually, when we talk about real-world use cases, that functionality is almost pointless. There is nobody who is going to build their website using ChatGPT, at least using GPT-4. Maybe by the time we get to GPT-5, 6 or 7, we will start to see this technology become more useful other than just, hey, this is a cool party trick. But nevertheless, I think that some of these tasks show real potential for using generative AI to help marketers. They can get you to, in some cases, 40, 50, even 80% of the way there. Is ChatGPT's capability alone enough to help you market a business or even market a business for you? To be honest, no. The advice in most cases is too generic and it's too base level to really help you compete in any sort of competitive market. But given the cost, the speed, and the accessibility, I think we have something here that shows real potential for the future. So over to you. What do you think about GPT-4 with vision? Are you going to be using it in your digital marketing? And if so, what sort of tasks are you going to be throwing at it? Until next time, see you soon.